shooting on a Red. We can make cinematic videos with this. Ever since Apple dropped the 15 Pro and Max with ProRes recording, all I've heard is you can shoot on an iPhone now. You don't need a professional camera. Well, I'm here to tell you everything that you think in your head about shooting on an iPhone is 100% wrong, and in a lot more ways than you think. But just saying that isn't enough, so I decided to team up with Drew to shoot a music video to his song, Your Man Ain't Me. First step was putting together the concept. When thinking about shooting on the iPhone, there were immediate downsides that I knew I had to work around. The lack of bokeh, the limited lens choice, etc. And unlike Apple or Usher, who has done some things on iPhone, I didn't have a virtuously unlimited budget to pull from. So there were a few parameters that helped me narrow down my idea. One, I knew it would need to be in one location. That way, we can maximize our time in one spot and make the lighting look as good as possible. Two, the location needed to be something unique that had a cool aesthetic already, so it wouldn't look bland. And three, I needed to add some kind of element to the video to make it interesting enough to trick the mind and make people forget that we're actually looking at footage from an iPhone. I immediately came up with the idea of shooting at a bar, since I've had so much success shooting at bars before, and they give interesting looks. I hopped on one of my go-tos, Peerspace, and ended up finding this really cool 1920 style speakeasy loft. A real Al Capone vibe. I loved the aesthetic of it, what it had to offer in terms of number of rooms, style, and even props with the poker table and poker chips. In my treatment, I decided that I would incorporate the artist dancing in the video. I was given the visual Smooth Criminal kind of vibe, because you know, your boy a smooth criminal. Once we arrived on set, I did a walkthrough with my AD and DP as the AC, that's a lot of abbreviations, built out the rig of the iPhone. Here we decided to go with Tilta's new Chronos cage, which gave us the ability to hook up multiple accessories to the phone, such as external power, external memory, a wireless focus system, and so on and so forth. Once our rig was built, we lit our first scene, which featured our model sitting in a private section with an underwhelming boyfriend. To light this scene, we used the F22C above their eye line, tilted down as our key. We then mounted two tube lights behind the mirror that you see behind the model. We set those to this purple color. And then a 4-foot tube mounted above the Al Capone photo, which acted as motivation for our tungsten practicals. Far behind camera, we had a 2x1 Gemini set to a violet color to add a bit of distant atmosphere. So you felt like, you know, we were at a club or a bar. And lastly, we attached an Aperture MC Pro above the camera for a catch light whenever we moved in for tighter shots. I do believe Haze would have added even more life to this shot, but unfortunately the location was hooked to the city's fire station, so we didn't want to risk triggering the alarm and having to shut down the shoot for hours. We did, however, put the iPhone on a dolly for some cinematic movement. Our next scene was our poker table with the artist. We set up two 2x1 Geminis high up and sort of skipped them across the ceiling. To camera right, we had a 2-foot tube light set to a blue color, which we used as a kicker on our artist. And then we had the F22C across from those Geminis spreading across the table, which was motivated by the chandelier above. Moving forward from here, we came off of the dolly and put the iPhone on sticks. We pulled back the camera and shot our first dance sequence of the music video. Since we were pointing in the same direction, everything stayed the same for the most part. We did, however, add a 2-foot tube high up camera left as a kicker and added an F22C to use as the dancer's key. From here, we flipped the world and shot from the artist's point of view, capturing the interactions of our model, who in the scene was on her feet admiring the artist. Normally, flipping the world, you would have to change a lot, but here, we just pulled the F22C back a bit and had the MC Pro as a catch light. A fun note though is that my DP added a flare effect by hanging some stripped lights around the lens of the iPhone, giving it a subtle but cool type of flaring. I think doing this along with shooting at a slightly lifted angle made up for the shot being static on an iPhone. Our next scene was this shot of our dancers having their solo dance moment. We shot on sticks here as well for me to be able to play around and do some cool effects later in post. We used our two 2x1 Geminis and placed them 90 degrees off camera left and right, shooting them directly at the dancers, and then boomed the F22C above the talent, set to tungsten, backlighting them. Of course, this was motivation for our practicals again. From here is where we moved on to what I believe was my favorite scene of the day. I would argue they are the best shots we got on the iPhone. But before we get to that, if you're enjoying this content and want to see more like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you can be the first to see my content from breakdown videos like this one to regular giveaways. Alright, so here we moved into my favorite part of the bedroom scene. In this scene, the artist sings to the model in a more intimate environment. First, we shot a close-up of her sitting in a chair and admiring the artist. Off camera right, we positioned the F-22C with an egg crate as her key. Side note, every time we've used the F-22C so far, we've had an egg crate on it to control the spill. Behind her was a lamp which we had on a dimmer. We used this as motivation and placed a 4-foot tube above her as a kicker. And to give a slight feel, we had our other F-22C on the floor, camera left, shooting into a 4-bounce. And then lastly, we had the MC Pro above the camera for our eye light, but it also gave us some feel. Again, I think this was the best look of the night. We then backed the camera out for a wide of this, and all we had to do lighting wise was do the same, back everything up. Also, another side note that I didn't mention earlier, we shot all this through Blackmagic's camera app, not the iPhone's native camera. And there's a huge reason for that, which I'll get to the benefits of using the Blackmagic app in a different video. Now that I've broken down how we shot it, check out this sneak preview.
Got a man, why you bringing him up? You hella bad, girl, I'm falling for you. So you should stop settling, swear I'll be better than whoever you gotta go home to. Whoever said the grass ain't greener. And baby, it was so nice to meet you. And now you got a hold of me, that's when you wanna be. So